session, this investment clinic session. So good day, everybody, because we have quite a number of people that also might be joining from other parts of the world. So I would always prefer to use the good day note to welcome everybody. So thank you, everybody, for joining. I would like to record this session as well. So if you don't mind, I'll start and press the record button. Okay, so good day, everybody. Thank you very much for joining this session today. Today, in collaboration with Noreen Baja, we're going to be looking at how to look at wealth investment, right? And they are pretty much the experts here. And presenting today, the topic is Revving Future, Strategic Financial Opportunities for Building Generational Wealth. My name is Olukayode Koshile Palmer. I'm the president of the group Bikers with Attitude and Determination. We've been collaborating with Noreen Baja for the past 2 years. And this is one of the initiatives that we're also looking at in terms of exposing people to things that will allow us to be able to secure a future, understand opportunities for investment, because there are so many opportunities out there, but most of the time some of us don't know how or where or which one is genuine and which one is not genuine. So Oluwatodimu Oluwole is from Noreen Baja. She's the regional head asset management Southwest from Noreen Baja. She's also on this call with a couple of team members in Noreen Baja. So I'll just be doing a quick brief on Oluwatodimu. Okay, so about our facilitator, right? She's currently the regional head asset management Southwest of Noreen Baja Asset Management Limited. She has over 12 years of experience across banking, wealth, and asset management. Attended various courses and training as well in financial planning and wealth management. So she's passionate about providing innovative wealth management solutions to individuals and corporate organizations. She holds a BSc from UNILAG, University of Lagos, as well as a master's in international law and diplomacy from the same University of Lagos. So join me in welcoming Oluwatodimu as I hand over this session to her to take it from here. So over to you, Oluwatodimu.
Okay, thank you very much for that introduction. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity for us to have this investment clinic with the Bikers gang. Yes, the Bikers with Attitude. We really appreciate this. So I'll just go straight into it. Today we're going to be discussing how to build generational wealth. What are the strategic financial opportunities? Please let me know if you can see my screen. I'm trying to share it. Okay. So
we can see your screen now.
All right, thank you very much. So we're just going to go right into it. I'm basically here to handhold everyone, and let's have like an engaging session on how to create a Revving financial future. Basically, we're from Noreen Baja, we're masters in wealth creation. So what I'll be talking about straight would be more on generational wealth, financial planning, why is it important, and all that, right? So I'll just start with generational wealth. It's just referred to as assets passed from one generation to another. But for you to start that, right, you must start by creating wealth, by accumulating and preserving it over time. So that wealth creation involves you acquiring assets or investments that appreciate over time. and then which will then create some kind of financial freedom and then stability for you over the period. And then in starting up or building up generational wealth, you need to create more like set your financial goals. These financial goals would create a transparent pattern whereby you're able to see from the beginning to the end how you plan to achieve this financial goal. So in the next couple of slides, I'll be talking about what financial freedom is, what financial goals are, how to set them, how to plan, because these are things that would enable us build this generational wealth we're talking about. Thank you. So here it just says, what is freedom? Freedom is the ability to act or change without constraints. It's the ability to live without being responsible to anyone, right? And because I'm actually speaking to bikers right now, we'll say, oh, how do you feel when you ride your bikes, right? What's the general belief that comes with riding a bike? I'm sure you feel some kind of freedom and empowerment, really there's no constraints and all that. So that just takes me straight to financial freedom. Financial freedom means having the resources and ability to live the life that you want without financial constraints. And as Grant Sabatia said, whenever we spend money instead of investing it, we're actually taking from ourselves. We're taking both the time we spend to make the money and the future freedom it can buy. So this just tells us what it means in plain English, for you to be able to have that buffer at retirement, or if you want to pass on a legacy from your generation to the other. How do you start by doing it? How do you create that financial freedom for yourself at that time? So people have various financial goals, right? It could be vacation, it could be you want to start a family, you want to relocate, or you want to acquire a property, right? And it could also be because you're saving for the next generation. So it's just, so in plain English, you'd say financial goals are things you desire or want in monetary terms, right? And what do financial goals help with? It helps you more like it helps you know what your destination is, right, from the beginning. So it's a personal target you have that you set for yourself on how you want to save or grow over time. And there's something that they say about wealth, right? So for you to be able to build generational wealth, financial literacy is actually the secret weapon. So if you want to build this wealth, right, how do you go about it? If you don't have the information or the right guidance, you might not be able to achieve it, because it's not just about saving or investing. You have to be disciplined. You have to know what exactly you're putting your funds into to be sure that you're going to achieve that goal at the end of the period. So you just don't save because you want to save. You must have reasons why you need to save. You must then have like a path on how you plan to achieve your goals. So they're just more like four major nuggets on that. And then that just says you should spend less than you earn, you save consistently, which is the discipline I spoke about earlier, manage finances carefully, right? And then seize and identify investment opportunities when they arise. So for you to be able to do this, you must be, should I say, have some form of financial literacy, or have, should I say, a reputable financial advisor that can help with all this. So what are the steps to achieving your financial goals? The first would be to identify your goals. And in identifying your goals, you just do not have to say things that are impossible. They must be smart, right? Specific, measurable, and all that. And then in doing that, you must have, in having that or identifying your goals, you must also be, you must have a timeline. You mustn't be absurd and the rest. And then in doing that, you have to analyze your current situation. So where am I as at today? How much do I earn? how much do I spend in a month, for example? What are my expenses? What are the things I need to cut down on? What are the things I need to so for example, if my goal is something that I need to achieve, say in the next 1 year, and I know I've not even started at all, do I need to be aggressive about it? Do I need to the financial planning basically just tells you what pace are you going to go at? Is it going to be aggressive? Is it going to be something that will just be moderate? Maybe at the end of the month, I just drop this, or I have to drop a huge sum to make that head start. Um, Also, it helps you to analyze your risk appetite. Are you a conservative investor? Are you an aggressive investor? You know, these things help you know where and how to invest. The next will be for you to draw up a financial plan. So in drawing up a financial plan, you might also need the help of a financial advisor to help you articulate your plans and um, how you and your goals. And then something that you have to do regularly is to review periodically. You must go over it time and time again because we live in a VUCA world, right? Things change literally almost every day. You have to ensure that your goals are in line with the current reality. So, for example, if you've said you plan to achieve a certain goal by next year, and with the way we have seen things move in the markets from January to now, you obviously have to review whatever you have put in place just to ensure that you can still achieve that goal and it doesn't seem like it's dead on arrival. So it just brings me straight to financial planning: the what, the who, why, when, and how. So it's just a comprehensive evaluation of your current pay and future financial states by using known variables to predict future income, asset values, and withdrawal plans. So what is your monthly disposable income? This is just literally your income minus your tax or expenses, right? And then something also that has to be part of us is to apply the 50-30-20 rule. So 50 goes to our needs, things we can't do without, right? We need to eat, we need to more like recharge our phones, we need to use data, we need things that we cannot do without. Those are our needs. We must plan for 50% of whatever income we make to our needs. And then once are things that you actually can do without, but a little self-gratification and all those, can actually fall into wants. And then investments must be 20% of whatever income you're making. And this is because it could be an emergency fund, for example, or you're saving towards a particular goal. The fact that you're saving or you're investing does not mean you have to then punish yourself, or you don't get to enjoy certain things because you're investing. So that's why this 50-30-20 rule is pretty much convenient for people to enable them achieve that level of discipline and consistency in saving and investing. So this just looks at our various life cycles, speaking to when we're in the wealth accumulation stage, up until when we get to the wealth enhancement stage. And then usually from about 36 to 55 years is where you look at conservation and protection. This is where you are saying, okay, what have I started? What have I grown? How far have I grown? What am I looking at building to ensure that I transfer wealth to the next generation? So this just looks at the various life cycles of a human. And then we see there's the invest part, there's the protect and preserve, and there's the distribution and transfer um, to the next generation. So this just looks at what it looks. So remember the various life stages. There's the area where your income exceeds your expenses. That's because you probably do not really have so many obligations at the moment. Then you start to have a family, you start to have passions, you've probably bought your bike and the rest, and then you have various expenses, right? How do you manage these things? And you also have to start planning for retirement as well. So it just helps you, the financial plan basically just helps you to balance all this, because they will definitely come at the various stages of our life, and why is financial planning important? It helps you to improve your cash flow, right? It helps you create a better balance between your income and your expenses, because you have done a review of how much you earn versus how much you spend. And then you've been able to come up with a budget, right? To know what exactly you need to knock off, or how aggressive you need to be at whatever goals you're gunning at. And then another is to make your retirement comfortable and secure, or transfer quality assets or investments to your heirs. And then it also helps you to increase your savings over time. So Warren Buffett says, someone sitting in the shade today is actually because someone planted a tree a long time ago. If you plan to fail, so if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So these are wise words, right? Really, the fact that we are enjoying certain things today means we have put in the work, right? It really, people are not so lucky for things to just drop on their laps that way. So you have to work to be able to get to that level of comfort that you want. So when should you start your financial plan? I would say now. There's no better time than now. And then what should be the frequency? I would say it should be a regular thing. You should be consistent. There should be some kind of discipline in place to ensure that you achieve this. I'll just go straight to, how do we build for the future? You have to set your financial goals. You have to create a budget. You have to plan for taxes. You have to build an emergency fund. You have to manage your debt, right? So if the loan isn't something that is needed, you really shouldn't go for it, because you're just increasing your expenses. Protect with insurance. I would expect that we all have some form of HMOs, or insurance on our bikes, or have like some kind of life insurance for ourselves. And then plan for retirement. What do you really want to do after this phase? When I retire, how do I want to spend my retirement? And then we also have to create an estate plan. That way it helps us to manage all this wealth that we've been able to accumulate over time, and then create a structure whereby even when we're no longer here, certain things won't suffer, because we have created this structure. So here just looks at, I would say it has two scenarios that shows why we should never leave things as they are, or should I say, why it's a crime to leave your funds idle and not invest over time. And this is because you need to actually start something consistently to be able to grow to that level that you feel you are comfortable to, or should I say, this helps you grow consistently to achieve your financial goal. So for example, looking at scenario A, if an investor or an individual starts with as little as 20,000 naira, with an average interest rate of 12% per annum for 20 years, this means that you would have yielded just 4,800 if you had just put in 20,000 in your bank account, say over time for 20 years. But because you have invested it, right, for 20 years at the minimum or the barest minimum interest rate of 12%, which is not cast in stone, there will obviously be fluctuations over time. You would earn with you would definitely earn something higher. So you're going to be earning as high as a 19.785 million on your investment. And then the second scenario just looks at a basic 10%, for example, for the next 20 years. So these are just scenarios, because I would say it's a crime to leave your funds idle without earning additional interest or income on it. This is even because of the current situation that we're in. I know a lot of people would mention, oh, Nigeria is already hard as it is. Income margins are reduced and the rest. Yes, but it's still a crime to just leave funds idle and not invest or earn anything. And this is because whatever expenses or obligations that you face in a month, for example, can be taken care of by the interest that has accrued on your investments, rather than having to dip your hands into your pocket again to then take funds to sort out those obligations. So these are just myths on financial planning. Financial planning is for the rich. No, it is for everyone. And that's because we all need to be financially literate, and this helps us to achieve our goals at the end of the period. I'm too old or young to think about financial planning. Financial planning has no restriction, basically. And then is investment the same as financial planning? I would say no. This is because you have to weigh certain things. You just don't put funds aside because you feel like putting funds aside. You have to have a goal. You have to have a plan on how to go about it. And then these are just basically ideas of people that feel, oh, why should I plan or go that way? So in a nutshell, with all of this that I have mentioned, the next phase will be to talk about our products, because really I cannot come here and tell you, oh, this is how you will build generational wealth or build or accumulate wealth, without more like hand holding and telling you about certain products that can actually help you achieve this goal. So I'll just go straight into some of our products highlighted. The mutual fund. So a mutual fund, right, is seen as a pool of various investors, right, who invest in a particular fund that is dedicated or aligned to their goals. So, for example, the money market fund, I would say, is more for short tenured investors, but it can be used for any type of goal, right? I would say is the most flexible fund for you to be able to achieve various goals. And this is because it's a short tenor type of fund, but it can go for as long as you want. It's open-ended, right? And then the returns are competitive as well as tax-free. And then there are funds that are licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission, who are the regulators for the capital market space, and is invested in short-term money market instruments such as federal government treasury bills, commercial papers, certificate of deposits, and all that. So I call it a traditional savings account. This is because you can actually set up a structure around it whereby for every loose funds that you have, you can actually put it in this fund, and then it grows on a daily basis. And that is because the rate currently offers between a 20 to 22%. And on that, you're able to earn your income on a daily basis, because the fund grows on a daily basis. However, the interest is accumulated for the quarter and paid at the end of the quarter. So this doesn't mean you can't access it when you want, because you can, because you're using this product to achieve that goal. So for example, if your goal is to maybe buy a car at the end of 1 year, for example, or buy a bike at the end of 1 year, what do you do? How much do you have at this moment? What do you need to do to achieve it? Do you need to sell your current bike to be able to buy the new one, or do you want to buy an additional one? What are the things that you need to do? How aggressive do you need to save towards buying these things? So this fund can actually help you with that. There's no restriction on how much you can invest. And then there's just a minimum holding period of 1 month. However, it goes on till whenever you're ready to terminate it. The next will be the Turbo Fund, which is still a fixed income mutual fund. This fund is targeted at long tenured investors, and that's because of the bond elements within the fund. So this fund has a minimum holding period of 90 days. It's currently averaging 13 to 14%. However, it's similar to the money market fund, except for the fact that money market fund has a minimum holding period of 1 month as against a 90 days on this fund. And then it's targeted at people who are looking at locking up funds for a longer period as against the money market fund. So this dollar fund is also targeted at investors who are looking at saving in dollars, and that's because a lot of people right now are looking at saving in dollars to hedge against the current devaluation and exchange happening. So this fund is a fantastic tool to help you achieve that. So if you know you're going to have obligations in USD, why not start saving in USD? This fund currently does an average of 9 to 10%, and it helps you to achieve that goal. It keeps earning interest on a daily basis, and then you're also able to receive your dividends at the end of the quarter. And then this fund is targeted at the Islamic faithfuls who believe in getting some kind of profit at the end of the period. So here it averages 12 to 13%, and they are invested in Sharia compliant contracts. So if you're an Islamic faithful and you're looking at somewhere where you can actually put your funds into and would not be something that you feel is against your religion, this is actually a product that you can use to help achieve that goal. And then for people who say, oh, I don't want a mutual fund, I want the regular fixed deposit kind of investment, we have that where we can help invest your funds depending on the tenor and the amount. The rates can be negotiated, and then you will be issued your investment certificates where you'll be able to use for your loans or visa applications. Same for the mutual funds also, we're able to provide those for you. And then we also have the product for kids, where we have parents who are looking at setting up something for their children. And that's because they have, so you can set up as many goals as you want. So you can set up a goal for your children's education as well as for yourself. So this product is something that is a fantastic tool to help you achieve that for your children. It currently goes for an average of 19.21%. The interest rate is reviewed periodically, but currently it's at 19.21% with a minimum initial deposit of 100,000, but there's no cap or restriction on how much can be used to start up. This is just a minimum initial amount. And then also speaking to the Islamic faithfuls, we have additional products for them, depending on the currency. They're all going to be invested in instruments that are Sharia compliant, and then the profit is also going to be shared with the investors. So this speaks to investors who are also looking at investing in fixed deposit type of products in USD. Depending on the tenor and amount, you're able to negotiate a rate, and then we're able to sort that out. And then if you feel you want to invest in Euro bonds, just because you want to create that cash flow profile where you feel like, okay, I'll be needing more, funds at a particular period of the year, you can structure your payments to happen around that time, depending on what you're looking at. And then all these products are basically tools to help you achieving them. And then if you say, oh, I want to set up a portfolio for myself, for my family, or for my business, right? We're able to set up a portfolio for you. You tell us, but this is more technical because we'll have to sign some certain documents that would enable both parties understand their roles in the portfolio. it will help us understand your risk appetite, what your goals are, and then what you actually want us. So it tells us whether or not you want us to manage it, or you want to be the one to give instructions to manage the portfolios. And then if you say, oh, you know what, I want to buy treasury bills, I only want to do commercial papers, I want to do bonds, I'm not interested in all these managed funds and the rest, we're also able to help you purchase those instruments. And then this product by one of our subsidiaries, the Northern Baja Heritage Service, is a fantastic tool to also help you recover lost dividends. So a lot of us here are most likely sitting on a gold mine and we don't know. And this is because our parents, for example, must have invested heavily in stocks at some point and probably did not mention it to people, or they mentioned it to us and we have not even had time to follow up on them or recover them. This service is something that we offer to our clients, where we're able to help you recover your lost shares and dividends, even on the deceased, also just by providing the documentation that is required, and in doing that, you're able to we're going to like carry out a global search where it brings out everything that must have been purchased in that person's name, and then based on the value, you're able to tell us whether or not you want to continue to pursue it, or you want to sell, or you want to you want to consolidate, and then you also want to build from there. So it's a fantastic service that I feel we can also use to track whatever we feel has been lost in the past. So usually I do this at most of my sessions, where it just shows that these things really do exist. So if you feel that you have some kind of unclaimed dividends or stock somewhere that you probably cannot trace or anything, the first thing is to go on this site, right? Once you go on this site, you're able to, it takes you to a page where you just type in the name on the search icon, and then it brings out the names or possible names that are linked to that name. And then you're able to see that you actually have valid stocks, that have not been should I say, utilized properly. You probably do not even know that it exists, or it exists, but you've not had time to sort out the documentation. That's not a problem. We can help with that. So I think basically, for account opening, it's seamless. This is just the process. You also have your login details, where you're able to see and view over time, monitor the growth, and then, top up at any point in time, and also redeem when you feel like, because after all, we're all saving towards a goal. And the whole idea is, despite the way things are, it's a major crime, right, to leave funds idle. So this just speaks to Northern Baja. For those of us who do not know Northern Baja, it's an integrated financial service group licensed, that has like various investment companies within it. I would say 8 subsidiaries. We're more like a one-stop shop. If you want insurance, we're there. If you want pensions, we're there. If you're looking at trading stocks, we're there. If you're looking at fund management, we're there. If you're looking at management consulting, we're there. And then if you're looking at the services of a microfinance bank or a fintech, getting business loans and all that, we're also there. And then if you're looking at developmental finance kind of loans, we're there. So that's just basically who we are. This is just a snapshot of the various subsidiaries within the group. And then this is how we've grown from 2017 up until date. These are the various awards that we have gotten over time. And then our competence basically is to create wealth, offer liquidity and portfolio management, be it individual, institutions, and all that. So these are just basically who we are, members of our board and all that. So I would say now is the time to take the bull by the horn. Like, you need to start something now. There's no time to delay. There's really no point delaying anymore. Start something now to build over time, and I'm sure we would all be happy by the time we see how these funds are growing, and then we're able um, to achieve our goals. So thank you very much. I hope it was quite